Before moving on from this example, let me quickly show you another little simplification we could do. Now, of course, this code is buggy, but just to show you, since we have just looked at this code, whenever you have a situation like this, if some expression returns some value, and after that you have an elif or an else, you can simplify. You can replace any elifs with just if, and you can get rid of else's. Why is that? Well, let's look at this code here. We have if some condition return, and then elif. Well, if this condition is true, we know we're going to go to line 13 and we're going to return a value. A return statement is going to exit us from the function immediately. And so it means that if somehow we found ourselves on line 14, it must be because the if condition on line 12 was false. So we must have been in the elif case anyway. And so we don't need elif, we can just say if. Similarly, if we ever find ourselves on line 16, it must be that neither this condition was true nor this condition was true. Remember, if any one of these is true, we are hitting a return statement and we will exit the function. So in general, whenever you have if some condition returns some value, if the next statement is elif, you can just say if, and if the next statement is else, you can get rid of it entirely. So we could simplify this code by replacing elif this condition return A with just if that condition return A. And the last statement, which was else return C, that we can just simply write as return C, because that else would have belonged to this new if, and we don't need it if we have got an if some condition return a value. Now, you may actually prefer the original code. If you were to write the code, perhaps you would have found it more readable in the previous style. But I want you to be aware of this style because many people write code like this. Many people, and therefore also potentially your AI. So at least you should learn how to read this code even if you yourself prefer the other style. Personally, I find this style easier to read. There are fewer words. And by now I have got comfortable with the idea that whenever I have an if condition with a return statement, I know that the only time I will come to the next line is in the else case. But until you get comfortable with that style, or if you just prefer the earlier style, if you think that's clearer, please write the code in the style that is most comfortable to you. But learn how to read this type of code as well.